Imagine this right now. No spacesuit, no oxygen, no protection. You're standing on the very first planet in our solar system. Here's a question. How long do you think you'd survive? 10 minutes? 1 minute? Or maybe just 10 seconds? Now imagine you're not just landing on one planet, you're being dropped onto every single planet in the solar system, one by one. And every stop, your body becomes a real-life experiment. On one planet, you'll start burning before you even get the chance to breathe. On another, the pressure crushes every bone in your body. And on one of them, there isn't even solid ground to stand on. But which planet do you think gives you the absolute worst death? Stick around until the end, because the last planet hides something that even NASA still doesn't fully understand. But first, let's head to the planet closest to the sun. Picture this. You open your eyes. The sky is completely black. But the sun, it looks almost 3 times bigger than it does from Earth. It's so close, it feels like it's swallowing the entire sky. So what kills you first? The heat? Wrong. You don't even get the chance to feel hot. Mercury has almost no atmosphere, which means it's basically the same as standing in the vacuum of space. Within seconds, there's no air to breathe. Your body stops getting oxygen, and if you try to hold your breath, your lungs can be seriously damaged because the air trapped inside them expands as the pressure drops. But unlike what you've probably seen in sci-fi movies, our body doesn't explode. That's just a myth. So what actually happens? After about 10 seconds, your vision starts fading. Your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. You lose consciousness. And unless someone rescues you almost immediately, you're not coming back. But let's say you somehow have a magical suit that gives you oxygen. That's when the real nightmare begins. On Mercury's sunlit side, temperatures can reach 430 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt many metals and plastics. Without serious thermal protection, your skin would suffer catastrophic burns in no time. But if you think Mercury is the worst hell in our solar system, you're very, very wrong. Because we're about to visit a place where even spacecraft barely survive. Imagine descending through Venus's atmosphere, thick yellow clouds stretching in every direction. The sun is barely visible. No beautiful landscape, no horizon, just haze and hell. What's the very first thing you'd notice? The pressure, an absolutely crushing pressure. At the surface, the atmospheric pressure is about 90 times greater than Earth's. That's roughly like being 900 meters, nearly 3,000 feet underwater. Imagine an entire skyscraper pressing down on every inch of your body, from every direction, at the same time. You'd be crushed almost instantly. But somehow, let's pretend you're still alive. Now the temperature kicks in. Around 465 degrees Celsius, hotter than most pizza ovens. One of the metals we think of as tough can actually melt on the surface of Venus. But there's something even more terrifying. Acid. You've probably heard that Venus has acid rain. That's true. Its clouds are filled with droplets of sulfuric acid. Most of those droplets evaporate long before they ever reach the surface. But they still create an incredibly corrosive atmosphere. There's nowhere to breathe, nowhere to hide. You can't even clearly see the sky. Venus isn't just another planet. It's the closest thing to hell we've ever found. Quick question. Can you guess the only planet where you'd actually survive without a spacesuit? Pretty obvious. Earth. But have you ever stopped to think why? Because everything we take for granted is actually incredibly rare. Breathable oxygen, the right atmospheric pressure, temperatures we can survive, a magnetic field that shields us from dangerous radiation, and liquid water, something we've never found anywhere else in the solar system the way we have here. Ready for the next stop? Because humanity's favorite future destination is nowhere near as friendly as people think. Picture this. You've just landed on Mars. The sky has a rusty red glow. Dust is everywhere. And it's so quiet, it almost feels like the planet is holding its breath. Since Mars kind of looks like Earth, do you think you could survive for a few minutes without a spacesuit? Not even close. Mars has an atmosphere, but it's incredibly thin. The pressure is less than 1% of what we have on Earth, and there's almost no oxygen to breathe.
Within seconds, you're gasping for air. Your brain starts running out of oxygen. The low pressure won't make your blood instantly boil, but fluids on the surface of your body, especially in your eyes, mouth, and lungs, begin reacting to the near vacuum. If nobody rescues you immediately, you black out. But let's say somehow you've got a magical oxygen supply. You're still not safe, because another enemy is waiting for you: radiation. Unlike Earth, Mars doesn't have a strong global magnetic field, which means cosmic rays and solar radiation can reach the surface much more easily. Every hour you're exposed without protection, your body absorbs more harmful radiation. And when night falls, temperatures can drop to around minus 100 degrees Celsius. So first, you suffocate, then you freeze. And even if you somehow survived both, radiation would slowly damage your body from the inside out. But now, we're heading to the king of the solar system, a planet so massive you could fit more than 1,300 Earths inside it. There's just one tiny problem. It doesn't actually have a solid surface to land on. Imagine falling through Jupiter's atmosphere. First, you pass through enormous clouds of ammonia, then layer after layer of hydrogen and helium. The deeper you fall, the higher the pressure climbs. Meanwhile, winds screaming past you at more than 600 kilometers per hour. A few minutes later, the pressure becomes so intense, no spacecraft we've ever built could survive, and neither could you. But believe it or not, that's only the beginning. Far below the clouds, the pressure becomes so extreme that hydrogen starts behaving like a liquid metal, a completely alien state of matter, one that's almost impossible to imagine. No human has ever seen anything like it. And here's the terrifying part. You never actually hit the ground, because there isn't one. You just keep falling, deeper and deeper, as the atmosphere gets hotter, denser, and more violent. Eventually, the pressure becomes so overwhelming, every organ in your body would be crushed, every bone, every cell, compressed beyond recognition. So even though Jupiter doesn't have lava or acid rain, it can still kill you in ways Earth never could. But as terrifying as Jupiter is, it's still not the strangest giant out here, because next, we're visiting the planet with the most beautiful rings in the solar system. And behind that breathtaking view lurks another monster. Picture yourself stepping out of your spacecraft. Right in front of you, the most breathtaking sight in the solar system. Gigantic rings, stretching for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. It almost looks like someone painted the universe by hand. But here's a question. Could you actually stand on Saturn's rings? Nope, not even for a second. Those rings aren't giant solid disks. They're made up of billions of chunks of ice and rock. Some are as small as grains of sand. Others are as big as mountains, all racing around Saturn at incredible speeds. Now imagine you've somehow made it through the rings, and you're falling into Saturn itself. Just like Jupiter, there's no solid surface waiting for you. The deeper you go, the denser the atmosphere becomes. The pressure keeps climbing, and the winds, they're on another level. Some storms blast through the atmosphere at over 1,800 kilometers per hour. Imagine a hurricane, faster than the speed of most commercial airplanes, throwing you around like a leaf. But it gets worse, much worse. As you keep falling, the pressure becomes so overwhelming that even the strongest materials humanity has ever built wouldn't survive. Your bones, your organs, every single cell in your body would be crushed beyond recognition. And the creepiest part? You never reach the bottom, because there isn't one. You just keep falling into deeper, hotter, more violent layers until the planet completely destroys you. Now it's time for one of the strangest worlds in the solar system. A planet that looks like it tipped over and never stood back up. Why is Uranus lying on its side? Scientists think that billions of years ago, a massive object slammed into it, tilting the entire planet by about 98 degrees. Now imagine entering Uranus's atmosphere. At first, everything seems peaceful. Soft blue clouds, silence. A cold, quiet world. Almost relaxing. But don't let that fool you. The upper atmosphere of Uranus is brutally cold. Around minus 220 degrees Celsius, that makes Uranus the coldest planet in the solar system. Before you even have time to think, the freezing temperatures begin stealing every bit of heat from your body. Your muscles stop working. Your breathing becomes impossible. Your body starts shutting down. But the deeper you fall, the worse it gets. The pressure keeps rising. Powerful storms of hydrogen, helium, and methane surround you from every direction. And then comes one of the wildest ideas in planetary science. Some scientists believe, deep inside Uranus, the pressure is so extreme that carbon atoms are squeezed into diamonds. Imagine that. A planet where it literally rains diamonds. Tiny diamonds forming deep inside, then sinking toward the planet's core like sparkling hail. Sounds incredible, right? But trust me, you'd never live long enough to see it,
because the pressure and cold would have destroyed you long before you ever reached those depths. And now, there's only one planet left. The farthest major planet from the Sun, a world that looks calm from a distance, but hides some of the most violent weather anywhere in the solar system. Imagine you finally reached the last planet in the solar system. You're farther from the Sun than almost anyone can truly picture. From a distance, Neptune looks calm, peaceful even, a deep blue world floating in the darkness. But if that's what you're thinking, you're about to make the biggest mistake of your life. Neptune is home to the most violent winds in the entire solar system. Some of those winds can reach speeds of over 2,100 kilometers per hour, fast enough to tear through almost anything. Imagine stepping outside. Before you even have a chance to react, the wind grabs you like a rag doll, throwing you through the atmosphere with unbelievable force. And that's only the beginning. The temperature hovers around minus 210 degrees Celsius. The atmosphere is mostly hydrogen, helium, and methane. There's no oxygen, no solid ground, no place to stand, just an endless descent into darkness. The farther you fall, the more terrifying it becomes. Eventually, every part of your body would be crushed, long before you ever reach the deepest layers. Some scientific models even suggest that deep inside Neptune, diamonds may actually form and fall like rain. An incredible sight, one no human will ever witness with their own eyes, because you'd be gone, long before you ever got close. Which planet do you think is the most terrifying? The one where you burn alive? The one that crushes you under unimaginable pressure? Or the one where you never even get the chance to land? The truth is, you only have to travel a tiny fraction of the universe, just a few million miles away from Earth, before nature reminds you how unbelievably powerful and unforgiving it really is. Every breath you take, every sunrise, every drop of water exists because Earth got almost everything exactly right. And that's rarer than most people realize. So, which planet scared you the most? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see what would happen, second by second, if a human fell into a black hole, dived into the sun, or crashed into the biggest stars in the universe, make sure to subscribe, because those journeys are even more unbelievable than this one.